Okay, so welcome to this module where we're going to be learning about how to draw and use your trend lines to conduct excellent TE. Okay, remember I said I'm going to try as much as possible to filter what I'm going to be giving you guys so you guys can just become good in the fastest period of time. I can't guarantee you're going to become good in 6 months. Yeah, you can. Sure, people can start getting good results, but remember we're talking about longevity here. So that's why I'm giving you guys, taking my time to explain each and every one of these concepts. Okay, so trend lines now is another very, very important aspect of technical analysis that you all must know. Okay, just like we had with the support, I told you guys that some people might want to argue that trend lines do not really work. Good, fine for them. But then this is what I do, and then this is what works for me. I'm going to teach you guys how you can do it, how you can leverage it to also make good analysis as a trader. Okay, so without wasting so much time, let's get proper into the course. All right, so what are trend lines? Okay, trend lines are diagonal lines that show the overall direction of price movement of a crypto asset. Okay, remember we said the price moves up or down, right? The market moves up or down, like the market always was moving. Okay, so a trend line is more like what a diagonal line that shows the overall direction of the price movement of a crypto asset. Okay, now we also talked about they provide a pathway, a path, a way, or a route for which price can either advance or decline. Remember, when we were talking about market structure, I said that there's a decline or the uptrend. The uptrend, the market is what is advancing upward. Now, when the market is advancing upward, the trend line helps you provide it with like a pathway for which price can follow in order for it to go up. Yes, we know that price is going up, but then there has to be a road. For example, now we almost have traveled to our village here. Yeah, there's a road to go to your village. If anyway, even if your school, there's a road to go to your school. So that road, that third road that you follow to go to your school, serve the same function as what as a trend line, right? So let's let's continue. Trend line, though simple to draw, can be very, very sophisticated tool in TA. Yet many traders undervalue it and try to rely on some complex tool when traded. I've said this and then I keep on saying this because you're going to get discouraged. I've been in a situation where when I was in a room with a few traders and then I was talking about how I use trend lines and they'd be like, this guy, are you always getting stop loss? Like, they will try to discourage me, but this is what works for me. That's why I talked about your edge when we started. You need to find your edge. I discovered that this thing works for me. There's other concepts like XSMC, the smart money concept, the inner circle trading, and if they all work for people, they found their edge. Beautiful. I found mine good. So you don't need to come and, although I still factor in what I learned from all of them. I still factor in things that's going to make me become much more effective with using these tools, right? But then that's what I want to teach you guys, so you guys can also become very good at it. Okay, and you can also get knowledge from other people to see how you can better yourself, right? So let's continue now. What are trend lines? I already explained what trend lines are, right? So now this is how the market is like it is normally. Market is going up or down. Remember, we talked about support and resistance in the last video, right? The market is going up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. But hope you know that the market does not just go up in a straight line. This is just like a textbook illustration of support and resistance. Our market is just going up or down. No, 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 no. If you actually go to your chart and look at the chart, you're going to discover that the market looks something like this, zigzag. The market is actually advancing, going upward, but it's not really going upward in a straight line. The market is going up in a zigzag pattern. I don't want to call it a haphazard pattern, but then if you're going to understand it better, the market is going up in a haphazard pattern. Yes, you know that the market is moving from the support to the resistance, but it does not just go up in a straight line. It's going to go up small, come down, go up. So you're going to see the zigzag pattern, okay? And that's what some of you is going to do. Some of you going to look at the chart and you just get confused. Like, how can I make meaning from this chart? For example, I'm looking at this thing alone. Some people already see like, Jesus, how can I make meaning from this particular thing? It's no big deal, okay? I was once like that too. But the idea of this trend line is going to help you begin to make more meaning from the chart. Remember, we started to make more meaning from the chart by first of all doing candlesticks, support and resistance. So I'm going to teach you guys more like another confluence again that you can use to get more meaning from the chart. And that's what we're talking about, these trend lines. Okay, so let's go to the next chart so you can see. Right, you can see now that you can see my trend line, which is the green tool. You can see how I've identified my trend. Then as much as the thing look at it, the market is just going up haphazardly. But you can see now that with the help of my trend line now, I know that the price is not just going up randomly. The movement is not just random. To the ordinary eye, it might look random, but to me that know how to use my trend line very well, I've been able to identify the trend. The trend is like what? Like the pathway. Yes, I know, okay, price is moving from the support to the resistance. It's going up, jaga, 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 jaga. But because of my trend line, I've been able to draw my trend line very well. Now, I know that anytime the price is, it always come back to rest on the trend line. It always make reference to the trend line as the price progresses upward. Okay, you can see. So the center up with the downtrend too. All right, this is, you can see the downtrend too. the price touched my my resistance, and then the price was about to start going down. Of course, the price is not going to go down in a straight line. They're going to be on series of up, down, up, down, up, down, but it's still what? It's still cascading. Because that is what it is falling. And so it is respecting the trend line very, very well. So the trend line provides you with an idea, a path, a route for which price can follow to move from one destination to another. All right. It's more like when we're talking about the market, so we say there's advancing and declining. Okay. So an uptrend is used in an when the market advancing, an uptrend line. Then a downtrend line is used when the market is declining. Okay. So let's go further. All right, so you can see a clear picture here. This is how the market looks like. You can see how the market is going jaga 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 jaga, but at the end of the day, it is still respecting my trend line. You can see the uptrend. The market is progressing from one point to another to always go up, come and bounce back on the trend line, go up, come and bounce back on the trend line, go up, come and bounce back on the trend line, go up, come and bounce back on the trend line. And then the moment it's about to even change routes again, if it's still coming down, it's going to be coming down, still bouncing on my trend line. Right, so this is exactly how this trend line works, how you use this trend line to make better analysis. Okay, so the moment you take a trade now, there's some people that the moment they buy a crypto asset now, then the market begins to, maybe they bought at the support, and then the market begins to go up. Market is going up, my analysis is playing well, and then the market will begin to retrace. So like, market, now they go back, they go and sell, thinking that the market is going back to is going back against them, not knowing that the market is just trying to come back and rest on the trend line. So the knowledge of the trend line, you're not going to be scared, because the moment you buy a coin, you're not going to be scared that the market is going back it's going back to hit my stop loss. No, you have an idea that the market does not go up in a straight line. So the market is most likely coming down to respect the trend line before it continues bouncing. And even if after it has bounced once, it's going to progress a bit, come back, rest again, progress a bit, and that's how it happens. Okay. So this information I'm giving now is premium and is expected to make you become a better trader. Okay, so this is exactly how we use a trend line. Okay, so let us progress now. Types of trend line, of course, there are two types of trend line. Okay, we have the up trend lines and we have the down trend lines. Okay, they can also be classified into macro and micro trend lines. Okay, by macro, we mean a bigger picture trend line. Maybe when you do your trend line on a higher time frame, they are called the macro trend lines. The macro trend, of course, like I told you guys, I've always emphasized it, that the higher time frame the higher time frame provides more credible and reliable data. So you cannot just say because of when the market is in the 4 hours time frame, okay, you're going to see a major trend here. So the macro, or you can call it major and minor. So on the 4 hours or on the higher time frame, you're going to see a major trend, and then on the lower time frame, you're going to see some minor trend. Because even inside a trend, you can see a trend. So that's what I'm trying to say here. Inside a trend, don't worry, as you're going to progress, you're going to begin to see clarity on all what I am saying here. Okay, so that's all you need to know about the types of trend lines. All right, so let's progress. All right, of course, this is what an uptrend looks like. I see how the market is progressing upward. Like I was telling you guys about the guys that do not really understand this concept of trend line now. They might go and buy they'll buy you the moment the price is going up. Price is going up, price is going up. And then when the price begins to come down, they begin to get scared that the market wants to go and take it. It's not taking you out. It's just trying to retrace before it continues the movement. Let me give you a clear illustration. For those of you that know how to drive a car, or maybe you've ever been inside. Of course, you must have been inside a car. The moment you kickstart your car, you fire the car, then you want to start moving. If you press the throttle, you cannot press the throttle from point A to point B. No. If you press the car, after a particular kilometers, you're going to lift your leg from the throttle before you come back and press it again. At that moment, the car is going to be like it slowed down a bit before it continues going up. The fact you're removing your leg or you're raising your leg slightly from the throttle does not mean that you want to stop the car. You just want to take a breath, or how the TikTok app says, you just want to take a small rest before you continue again. Okay, so it's same with the market too. When the market goes up, you want to come down and rest before it continues going up, right? So this is how an uptrend forms, right? So the same with the downtrend, so you can see it happening. The market is cascading downward, and of course, it's respecting the trend line. So these trend lines are very, very vital to you. You're going to learn how to use them to make good analysis as a trader, right? So let's progress. Now, part of a trend line, I need you guys to pay very attention here, because this part of a trend line can be very, very confusing. And at the end of the day, if you don't know them, you might end up making some very, very crazy decisions, or taking some very, very crazy decisions that might make you, or might cancel your chances of becoming a profitable trader, right? So for an uptrend, or rather the trend, right? When we say part of a trend, they all have similar parts. They have, just like we have the candlestick, we have the bullish and the bearish, but the parts are the same. Just that one is the bullish and one is the bearish, right? So the same with this trend line too. The parts are the same, just that one is a uptrend and one is a downtrend. So we have the higher high, the higher low, the retracement, and the corrections. For that's for the uptrend. Now for the downtrend, we have the lower low, the higher high, the retracement, and the corrections. They are big grammars. You don't need to panic, all right? So I'm going to teach you guys, I'm going to show you guys pictorial illustrations of what I just mean by higher high, higher low, and all of these. Okay, so let's progress. You can see that this is a clear example of what? Of an uptrend. You can see the high. When I say HH, I mean what? Higher high. And of course, just look at it, the normal language, higher high. The market is advancing, the market is moving upward. So the high, the next high is always higher than the previous high. Amen. Okay, you can see it's progressing. High, higher high, higher high, higher. So the moment new higher highs are always forming, then that's give you an idea of what of an uptrend. So sometimes somebody might not use this trend line to identify might not use a trend line. For example, some people that trade SMC, they might not use a trend line to illustrate they might not use a trend line to draw their trend. They might just identify just their higher high and their higher low, and then they'll tell that this is an uptrend just by visual inspection, because they've been able to spot the higher high. Of course, you can see the higher low. The low, in as much as the low is also getting high. Because look at it, the previous low, the next low is always higher than the previous low. So that's called the higher low. This is just common English. You don't need to stress yourself. Uptrend, higher high, higher lows, right? And it's going to keep on progressing like that, right? And then the moment you discover that one of the lows, no, let me leave that one, and then when we progress, you're going to see it. So the same thing happened with the downtrend. You can see it. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. You can see the lower low. The market always printing new lower low. So whenever the low, maybe the market bounces on the trend and then it goes up, and then when it was coming down, it's passed or it went below the previous low. Maybe it's okay. This is a downtrend because of what a new lower low was printed. So the market is always cascading downward. Now, even if you can see that even as the market is cascading downward, the market will actually pump. But even if it is pumping, the pump will go pump. It will still not pass the previous high that was created. That's what we call it the lower high. It was high, but it was lower than the previous high. I trust you guys are getting what I'm trying to say. If you're not, please just watch this video again, pick your pen, jot whatever you want to jot, and then go in your chat and practice. Okay, so let's progress. So we have the next part of the trend line which is what the retracement or correction. Okay, and this one might be a bit technical. That's why I want you guys to pay attention here, maximum attention here. The first one we have is what the retracement. Now let's assume you have drawn your trend line, right? You discover that anytime the price will always bounce away from the trend line and still come back to the trend line. So that process of that movement that brings the price action, that brings price back to the trend line is what we call the retracement. Now, what do you mean by retracement? Retracement in normal English is just like what? A pullback. Okay? Retracement is just like in normal English means what? Pullback. So the moment the price bounces on the trend and then is going away, that's one part. But whenever the price is coming back to bounce on the trend, and that process of coming back, you can see it. I identified it with my should I call it red boxes now, but almost red boxes. You can see that whenever the market is always coming back to bounce on the trend. So that process of coming back to bounce on the trend line is what we call the retracement. The market will always retrace or come towards the trend line. And of course, we have the next part, which is the correction. Now, the correction is just more like the opposite of the retracement. The correction is that movement that takes price or push price away from the trend line. Then correction, retracement brings it back. Then as it is bouncing away, that process of bouncing away is what we call the corrective movement. Okay, we have the retracement. The market will retrace, correct. So don't go out and be saying zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. You're not showing that you're a professional trader. Okay, use the word correction and retracement, right? So let's check for the uptrend. Okay, so you can see for the uptrend too, it's all the same thing. I just try to compress them in one structure here, right? Like I said, if you're not seeing this thing clearly, just go and update or increase the quality of your YouTube videos, right? So you can see the market. Look at our uptrend, right? The market. I've already identified my uptrend using my uptrend line. Okay, so you can see the market it's moving away from the trend line. Is what is correction is pulling off. Then look at it's not coming back to the trend. That's what retracement. You can see the arrows. It goes up in retracement. So we call retracement, correction, retracement, correction, retracement, correction, and that's how a trend line is going. A trend is going to be formed, right? So that's just all about the parts of a trend line. Okay, so let's go to the next structure. Now, how do you draw your trend lines? Now, beautiful. I know it's not just enough for me to just teach you guys about trend lines. Start teaching you guys how to draw these trend lines, right? So I'm going to teach you guys how to draw this trend line so you can use it to make good analysis. Of course, number one, identify your support and your resistance. Very, very important. That's what I told you that I see. Till the day we stop doing technical analysis, right? We would always make reference to support and resistance, because they are the foundational knowledge. Yeah, the foundational knowledge. No two ways about that. identify your support and your resistance. Okay, then the moment you're done identifying your support and resistance, identify your key areas of value. You can see that there's certain things that will begin to be like repetitions to you always, because they will keep on repeating themselves again. Then connect at least. You can see the connection again. See, TA is not really difficult, but if you want it to be difficult for you, but just allow yourself learn. I'm trying as much as possible to simplify these things for you so you don't get complicated. Because I've seen a lot of concepts that they might want to tell you that, okay, do this, but at the end of the day, they're just trying to make it so complicated. So I'm trying to simplify it in such a way that anybody can learn how to trade cryptocurrency, right? So let's go now. Number one, identify your support and resistance. Of course, you should know how to identify your support and resistance. I've been able to identify my support and my resistance. So at this particular moment now, the price is at my what? At my support. So I am expecting price to go up. Okay, but before price goes up, I need to what? Identify my trend line to be very, very sure that price is what is going up. So I'm going to wait for the next point. Remember, we're trying to draw our trend line here, our trend, right? So you can see that after I've drawn my support and my resistance, then I know that, okay, our price is about to begin to go up. So I'm going to wait for areas to be formed. Remember, the areas of value are not just formed when you're drawing your support or your resistance. Any place at all that there's a bend, let me use the word bend, you understand, where there's a reversal, price is making a U-turn, it's an area of value. Do not neglect it. Do not neglect it. So once you identify your support and resistance, then you know that, okay, our price is about to start moving from one point to another. Okay, so you identify your areas. Maybe when the price has created, that has done a correction, retracement, at least must have created at least 2 areas of value, right? So you connect, you identify your areas of value, and then you connect them, and then you extend them. Of course, you connect them using your tool. You can see how I did it here. It's just simple illustrations. So you can see that, okay, I know that, okay, anytime price is coming, the price always come down to retrace on the trend line, and then it's going to bounce back and keep on going up. Now, you see, I know some people ask that, but I did not really buy at the resist at the bottom. You must not buy at the bottom of the support for you to make money. The idea is also to buy low and sell high. So if you buy, even if you buy at when the price is hitting the trend line, then you go and say it's still profits. So don't be worried about you must catch the exact place that price must reverse. No. If you keep on doing like that, you'd always be frustrated because nobody knows the exact bottom. But so the moment the price has confirmed that, okay, it wants to start making movement upward, you can identify your trend line and then take advantage of the trend. Okay, so this is exactly how you draw your trend lines and take advantage of it. Of course, now I'm not going to be scared if I see the market coming back retracing, because I know if it's retracing, it's actually retracing to come back and hit the trend line before it continues with correcting to the upside and progressing. And yeah, that's how it happens, right? So let's go. You can see a clear illustration here. You can see this on the chart here. I've identified my areas of value and then I connected it. So you can see the price is correcting, retracing, and yeah, beautiful lines. It's not really difficult, but then if you want it to be difficult, it's definitely going to be difficult for you, right? So key pointers to using Trendlines. Okay, do not force it. Sorry for this error. There's force it. Okay, I know a lot of people now they want to force it. Like, so I must have this. It must not align perfectly. Like I said, you're not here to become a perfect trader. You're here to become a profitable trader, right? I know a lot of people will be here wanting to become a perfect trader, but like I always tell people, you're not here to become a perfect trader. Sorry about that. Okay, so like I said, you're not here to become a perfect trader, you're here to become a profitable trader. Okay, so higher time frame trend lines are more reliable. Okay, don't fall in love with your trend lines. Of course, when I say a trend line provides a path, so when the price is going from point A to point B and it has gotten to the resistance, the trend will change. The market will want to start going downward. So if you fall in love with that uptrend because the price action is respecting it perfectly, this price is respecting my trend line, the price is going to go to, no, it will not go up. Like, even if it's going to go up, there's going to be a series of retracement. So at the point that the market is going to take a bigger retracement and then it's going to continue. So don't fall in love with your trend lines. If you have drawn them, be rest assured that they can break anytime. Just as our support and resistance broke, the trend line can also break. So an uptrend is going to turn to a downtrend, a downtrend is going to turn to an uptrend, right? So do not fall in love with your trend line. Okay, then the next one is what higher time frame trend lines are more reliable. I'm not going to ever get tired of saying this because it's true. Higher time frame trend lines are always reliable than there's major. We call them the major and minor. Sometimes the major and minor might agree, but sometimes they might not agree. And even if they don't agree, always make sure that if you're taking any bias, it's always aligned with your higher time frame trend lines, right? Then trend lines are not 100% as seen in books. Be flexible with your imagination. This is beautiful because you know that the moment you go on your chart, some of you might begin to think that Opera has gone to teach us something that does not exist. No, please. It's like that. Sometimes you might get a perfect trend line. Sometimes you might not get it. Okay, so just learn to be flexible with your imaginations and then trade what you see, right? So that being said, The next one is never trade against the trend. Okay, so if the market's an uptrend, except if you discover that the market is about to change trend, do not trade against the trend. If not, you get burnt. Okay, there are some certain confluences you need to add. Okay, like if you remember that before you're going to, let's assume the trend is an uptrend. Okay, before you're going to trade against the trend, you must be rest assured that probably the trend has gotten to the, or the price movement has gotten to the resistance. Okay, then when the price has gotten to the resistance, then you need to say, okay, this trend line, it be like a road one change, price won't begin to reverse from up to down. So you begin to take you begin to stay conscious of the possible changes, and that is only reasons why and criteria that you might want to change or trade against the trend. But most of the time, do not trade against the trend. If you see if you discover that the market is an uptrend, always seek to find a buying decision, because the market will always be in favor of people that buy, that want to, that say, okay, our price is going to go up. But the market is clearly going up and then you want to go and short the market, you'd always get liquidated. Okay, so practice increase your accuracy and speed of identifying a trend line. Remember, I told you guys I'm going to always sing or hammer you guys on practice, practice, practice. You can't become good if you don't practice. It's not possible. In one of my mentorship section, I was telling my student that I open the days I open my charts more than 100 times a day, and they'll be like, "Wow, this guy, are you crazy? You're just hyping." I'm not hyping. That's the truth. More than 100 times. Sometimes I stay the whole day. I'm on my trading view, the whole day. Yeah, just because I want to really get this thing. Because at the end of the day, if I get it, see, there's money in cryptocurrency. So if you think that there's no money in cryptocurrency, that's why you're still playing small with it. But once you understand the money there, but you'd be willing to pay the price now, hurt your flesh to learn it, burn the midnight candle to learn it. Because the moment you learn it, you're made for life. Honestly speaking, the money there is, you cannot imagine for a second the kind of money you can make from cryptocurrency if you get some certain things right. All right, so never ever underrate the power of practice. Okay, so this brings us to the end of the section. Like I said, I'm always going to be recommending some few materials that you guys can go and study. So one of them is, of course, the Renatio. Go and eat this guy's material. I have a few of his books that I can recommend to you guys. It's simple to easy to read books. If you're another person that like reading books, go on his YouTube channel and go and watch his videos on Trendlines. Okay, and also go on babypapes.com. Beautiful channel, beautiful website. I mean, that website helped me a lot. Okay, I'm not that person that would want to tell you to go and follow some very complicated traders. No, I want you to go and get it, because once you understand this basic knowledge, but it's going to be easy for you to probably seek more advanced knowledge, right? So always ensure that you do as I instruct. Okay, so as you've learned about trend, and I wish you all the best, and I hope that you practice, right? So see you on the next slide, right?